If you want to quit watercolor because it's too difficult, I'm going to share with you the breakthrough that I had and that allowed me to create more than 1,000 watercolor paintings without any tutorials, without doing any art school, and without having any talents. It all started with this workshop that I did with my students, which is the workshop on gorgeous seascapes. In this workshop, I share to my students all the techniques that I knew about how to paint seas. And the thing is that I wanted to provide so much value to them. The workshop lasted for 3 hours straight without any pause, only painting. And I shared with them 11 techniques about how to paint beautiful seascapes. And here you can see a topic where you have the reference photo, and all the reference photos come from the students themselves, where you can create a beautiful sky and there is a mirror on the water. Here you can see how to paint a sunset on the sea, and then you have the beach with waves, the sand and the wet sand. Then you have the waves, and for the waves you have 3 different techniques. So I gave everything. And thing is that at the end of the workshop, at around 3 hours, one of the students told me that, okay, it was great. Now she had lots of techniques that she could work on, but it's a little bit difficult to digest. The feedbacks that I had from the students are, okay, it's great. You provided so much value, but now I have to rewatch the replay again. So again, 3 hours of replay in order to understand deeply what you meant by these techniques and how I can reproduce it on my own topics. And when I heard that, at first I didn't understand, because for me, I structured everything so that everything could be done in seconds. And also, in order to create this workshop, I studied hundreds and hundreds of my previous paintings in order to give them only the essential information. How could it be that it's not digestible? So I put so much pressure on me, and I wanted to give so much value that in the end, it was counterproductive, and my students, they didn't manage to grasp all the information, because in the end, maybe they will use 1, 2 techniques maybe among the 11 that I shared. And this is when I realized, when you want to provide so much value, sometimes it can backfire. And it's exactly the same in watercolor if you struggle, because when you try to interpret your own photos and you want to communicate, you want to paint everything, by doing so, it's counterproductive, because the final painting will not convey the right emotion, because people, they won't grasp the essential part, because you wanted to tell everything. And what completely shifted my mind is the next workshop that I did with them. I told them, okay, we are going to do a little bit differently from the last workshop on the sea. Now, at first, I wanted to make a workshop about nature, Mother Nature, but when you look at it, it's the same thing as the seascape. On the seascape, you have the skies, you have the beaches, you have the waves, you have the boats, you have so many subtopics. And for the nature, it's exactly the same. You have the mountains, you have the forest, you have lakes, you have campaigns. And again, I was about to make exactly the same mistake, meaning I wanted to tell everything to my students. And in the end, I decided not to do that. And I suggested them, okay, you know what? We are going only to focus on the forest and the trees here. And by doing so, I could explain them exactly how to paint a tree, how to paint a pine tree here, how to paint a dead tree here, and how to not make the essential mistake. For example, the branch here, you can see that oftentimes you need to split a branch into two, but a branch rarely split into 3 or 4. So this is a kind of mistake that I could spend time on because I reduce the mental load, I reduce the workload, I reduce the topic. And this is exactly the same in watercolor. If you struggle in making your own watercolor, it may be that, and this is exactly what I see in my students, they want to tell everything. But by reducing what you are going to tell, you will be able to focus on the essential thing, and you will be able also to avoid the essential mistakes. And yeah, maybe that this kind of trees, they don't have exactly the same wow effect that I had with this seascape. But as you can see, as time goes by, first, this workshop, it only lasted 2 hours instead of 3 hours. I only shared 3 techniques instead of 11 techniques. And it was so easy for me to create this workshop because I just needed to take those 3 techniques and to confront them in front of different photos from my students. So this is a photo, and this is how you can interpret in a way with one of the techniques this forest. And it's exactly the same here with the pine trees. I have another techniques where I share with them, okay, you can use different colors, and this is the painting that you can create based on this second techniques. And it's the same for this forest where I share the last techniques and I show them, okay, this is how you can interpret. And this created the wow effect among my students who told me, I didn't know that it was possible to create something that is beautiful, that makes the pigment fuse, and at the same time that allow me to detach myself from the reference photo. And all of it happened just because I decided to reduce and to adjust the workshop by not doing exactly the same mistake that I did. And this is the lesson that I want you to take from this video. If you struggle today to make your own watercolor paintings, it means that something is off, something is missing, or something is not right, and you can feel it. And in order to know exactly what it is, you have to deconstruct, you have to list all the little tasks that you do when you try to create your own watercolor paintings, and to spot exactly, okay, this is the task where everything falls apart. And for me, about the workshop on the seas, I realized that, okay, there are too many techniques. I cannot provide that many techniques to my students because the mental load is too high at this point. So I need to reduce it, and just by adjusting this sole parameter, then I created this gorgeous forest workshop, and the students, they loved it so much that now I'm going to create all my workshop based on this subtopic and not the broad topic. And here you can see what the student did during the live. It works really well. Here is another student, and here is another student. So identify what exactly is wrong in your practice, and it's not about the final results of the watercolor. It's not about analyzing your watercolor. It's about analyzing the process of your practice. What is off? What is wrong? What feels not right to you? And by doing so, then when you spot it, just like me, I want to tell everything in my painting. Ask yourself, how can you make it fun? How can you make it easier? How can you make it simpler? And this breakthrough, thanks to this workshop on the forest, was exactly what I needed in order to have fun again, having less pressure creating those watercolor workshops. And by doing so, the students, they loved it so much because I had fun doing it. And this is exactly how I was able to create more than 1,000 paintings without any tutorials, without going into art school, and without having any talent. I have an engineering background. I'm not an artist at all. I'm a 100% self-taught artist, and I learned watercolor the hard way. So that's why I hope that this video will help you learn it the right way and the faster way. Let me know in the comment if it was helpful to you, and see you soon.